Dear friends, do not be mistaken. If you crave spiritual growth, you must practice solitude time to time. In a modern world, Satan has deceived the world to make us too busy for God. But by doing these lessons, I will share shortly, you send a clear signal to Satan who you truly serve. Most importantly, it's God who you are proclaiming your service and relationship to. The good news is that Jesus is our example. He was so busy saving the world, he still did one thing regularly. And I strongly suggest we all do the same, as Christ was our perfect example. That being too busy, not an excuse not to have a relationship with God. Let's explore 4 texts. 1. Mark 1:35 tells us that Jesus rose early in the morning, went to a solitary place, and prayed. 2 Matthew 14:23 shows Jesus dismissing the crowd and retreating to a mountain to pray alone. 3 Mark 6:46-47 records him going to the mountain to pray, even as his disciples faced challenges. 4 John 6:15 reveals Jesus withdrawing to a mountain alone when the crowd sought to crown him king. In each of these moments, Jesus models something profound: the importance of intentional solitude with God. These the essential lessons. Lesson 1. Prioritize your relationship with God. Jesus didn't just find time to pray, he made time. Even in his busiest moments, he sought solitude with God. This reminds us to focus on our connection with God above all else. No matter how overwhelming life becomes, your relationship with him must take precedence. It does not matter who you are. Book a time alone, away from your friends, family, and colleagues. Also, even if you're married, you must still book short time away from your spouse to speak to God, as he is sovereign over all else, and he will give you insights to make your marriage even better. Lesson 2. Jesus recharged through solitude. When Jesus withdrew, it wasn't out of weakness, it was to recharge. He teaches us that stepping away from life's noise isn't abandonment. It's preparation to deal with all the noise that will come again. You can't pour from an empty cup. Spend time alone with God to refuel your spirit, courage, and faith. It reminds you that God is the source and power that keeps you running. Lesson 3. Listen for God's voice. Solitude allows clarity. Jesus consistently sought God's direction, even when people clamored for his attention. Similarly, we must learn to quiet the world's distractions, to hear God's voice. It's in these still moments that your path becomes clear. Remember, one of Satan's master deceptions is to make us too busy for God, even for the best intended Christian. For the enemy knows the goodness we are missing when he successfully makes us unavailable to hear God's voice. How many people's life would have been different if they had listened to the voice of God? So start today. Lesson 4. Resist external validation. John 6:15 shows us that Jesus rejected the crowd's desire to make him king. He didn't chase external validation or applause. In your life, focus on God's purpose for you, not on seeking approval from others. What truly matters is how God sees you, not how the world does. Have you ever done things for others, even if it's something extremely significant, without getting acknowledgement for it? Don't seek approval so earnestly. God will reward you openly in the fullness of time. Lesson 5. Align with your purpose. Every time Jesus prayed, he realigned with his mission. You too must take time to reflect and ensure you're living according to God's plan for your life. Solitude is where you recalibrate your soul. Sometimes our purpose in life can be overwhelming, that we lose the true purpose, and it can turn to selfishness. Returning alone to God allows you to have humility in the heart and ensure your mission still aligns with God. Lesson 6. Find peace in letting go. Mark 6:46-47 shows Jesus leaving the disciples to face a storm while he prayed. Sometimes, you need to let go of control and trust God to handle situations. Focus on your growth and leave the rest in His hands. This is significant. Some of us pray and then try to answer their own prayers themselves and convince themselves that God is leading them. This is not the truth. Let go and let God do His marvelous work. Lesson 7. Strengthen your inner self. Finally, Jesus demonstrates the power of prayer in solitude to strengthen His inner self. True emotional development begins when you allow God to work within you. When you retreat with God, you build resilience, clarity, and peace. Take a moment today, seek solitude, and let God's presence renew you. Let's follow Jesus' example and make time for what matters most. May we all walk in Christ's blessed steps.